Wow, Sharma, that was amazing. I have a couple questions. Well, first, I'd
Mhm.
like to add my experience with the root chakra and enemas. And as you know, enemas for me were very transformative for my period where I had severe cramps and through diet, but also through significantly through doing a lot of enemas. At that time, it was a couple times a week, and these days I do it once a week. But through that, it would relieve my cramps. And I'm not saying that I'm not talking about doing enemas for listeners or the audience that I was doing enemas on my period. It's more so the consistent practice of doing it and then watching how your body is different when your period finally does come. It is a huge relief. It is a surprise. It is just healing. And yes, it is absolutely liberating for our root chakras. Thank you so much. And our sacral chakras too, because that's actually in that area as well. So thank you so much for speaking about that.
No problem.
Um, yeah. You also talked about briefly about your diet. How does your diet align with your values?
Um, I guess less is more. And I feel like mucusless site healing system helps me with that, um but it's also a transition because our body needs like the weight of the food to promote about, you know? Um so like understanding that as well, about my diet, because like eventually I would like to eat less, because I feel like the more in commune I am with spirit and God, the less I eat. The less like I feel like at this point, at this age, this chapter in my life, um, I feel like I don't eat because I want to eat. Like it's so different. I'm really truly um learning about God through enemas. And I know that seems like so far fetched, but like breath is everything that's holding us, together in like connecting us with plants and animals and the river and the trees and um, the grass, earth, this vessel, right? So just having more breath, like it was always there, but like it was constipated, you know? So we can't receive more.
Yes, thank you. And so, what I understand is, and I feel this too sometimes, is the more in line with yourself that you are and with divinity, you feel like all these other things are feeding you because nutrition isn't, and your diet isn't purely physical food. It's also, like, as you said, nature and maybe even the things that you read and watch and listen
Mhm.
to. So I feel as though I have been thinking that this is the basis of a lot of practices such as fasting, because when we pause from eating, not only are we giving, first of all, our digestive system a break, but we do it historically as a way to connect with God, and we learn a lot about ourselves in the process. So yes, thank you so much. And also, I really would like you to talk about just veganism and how you got into that, if you call yourself a vegan or plant-based, whatever, and what is your thinking about around veganism and why do you practice it and how did that start? And if you have any tips for others who want to join in either veganism or vegetarianism, even pescatarianism, any advice?
Yes, come join this cult. Well, this culture,
Yeah.
this was intuitive, and I feel like I move very intuitively than logically, which has definitely like I noticed like helped me receive God. It was through social means, like everyone around me. Like at the time, I was just hanging out with Rastas, and they're all vegan, or pescatarian. So naturally, in a social environment, because we also eat through our environment, the people that we hang around and whatnot. Cooking meat was hard because I'm just like, oh, what about salmonella and all of this and all that. So just cooking vegan meals was just easier for me. And again, I come from a Caribbean background, so rice and beans was like,
Mhm.
that was easy work. Again, it was just me falling into alignment. If you want to be in a different culture, go to that environment, like go to vegan meetups, um, vegan events. That would help, for you to gain connections, socially, and to help you, you know, um, stay in alignment. And I guess naturally in my family, like it was more whole foods, when I was eating meat. We didn't go to restaurants often. We didn't participate in that. Um, so yeah, like like having a lentil burger, I'm okay with. And I think our thought forms affects how we eat. But like these thought forms aren't ours, but we hold on to them like it is. Like these are programmed into us daily through movies, through shows, through propaganda, continuously for a reason, but one has identified with it so much, that they can't see anything else, like I'm sad, I eat ice cream, I eat cake, I just eat eat until like I can't feel
Emotions.
anymore. I just
Yeah.
numb myself from feeling, but we're supposed to feel that and let it go, because there's medicine in everything. Um, but yeah, like that act of eating is to constipate us and feel numb, like numbers, Um, and usually we don't eat like fruits or like vegetables when we feel sad and whatnot, even if we want something sweet, it's not going to be a watermelon, it's not going to be a jackfruit, or
We definitely are conditioned by the media to treat our emotions like that, like overstuffing or even other things that might not be too healthy for us. When we are supposed to feel, and like I think that um well, what I see is, and from what I know from my own personal experience too, is when you just let yourself feel what it is that you are currently feeling in the moment, um, you you're able to just, as you said, release it and move on, and even realize where it comes from and acknowledge that just acknowledge your experience. I would say, instead of letting it just drag. um, so Sharma, I want to talk about you traveling. You and your family of four travel overseas sometimes. What is it like traveling with a family, especially with toddlers?
it's hella hard. I feel like traveling with people in general that probably don't like kids and whatnot. Like it's hard, because they're gonna be crying and yelling and screaming and whatnot. People will be like, and then there are people who are willing to like pick up your baby and like console them, while you're trying to do everything else, like they'll see you struggle and actually help you. So like, there's a balance of the two. But I feel like going to like third world countries, they are more family oriented. So if they see that you're a family, they're like, "Okay, come to this line," and like you're like 1,000 people deep. Oh, like at the back of the line, they'll see you and they'll be like, "Okay, come to the front of the line." Like all the single folks will be like, "Hey, I was here first." But yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. um, but I feel like that's just like the process, like that process of traveling with the kids. Like let's say, like airlines, a bus or whatnot. Like it's like that's the hump, and then we get over it, and we're like, oh, thank God.
So, while you're traveling overseas, how do you keep up with your enema and anything else that is related to your health?
It's actually very easy because like most people like know poor people food, which is basically not meat. Like if you're rich, you have meat, you have cows, you have goats, you have that stuff, right? So like normally I guess people would be like, "Oh, so you eat poor people food." It's like, yes. Yeah, so it's really good because like there's squashes, there's they probably don't have lettuce like the way we know lettuce, but they'll have like their own spinach like in the villages and stuff like that. Um
Interesting. Yeah.
they'll have carrots, they'll have eggplants, it's good. It's very easy. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say as well for people who want to like get close to like veganism, plant-based stuff is like transition, like slowly, you don't have to go cold turkey. Slow and steady wins the race, So like incorporate more salads, more lively foods, like chicken salad, fish salad, but bowl. I don't just have like a little tiny coconut bowl. And if I do, I'm having four like more servings.
Hmm.
I took that really cute picture, but really I'm having more of that, you know? Yeah. So
True. Very true. And what about, do you bring your enema bag overseas? I'm curious about that. You do?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, it's part of our daily lives. Like it's like brushing our teeth, So like all the mucus and plaque we get from, the foods that we eat, right? On our teeth, the same thing's happening in our colon and intestines.
Thanks. Lastly, do you have any tips for people who are scared to do their first enema?
I have no tips. um,
Oh no.
honestly,
You just have to do it, I guess.
yeah, and if you need your hands to be held, like you can message me or Jojo. If you like feel like you need to be supported through this, but honestly, what I've been learning is that there are people that want to heal, and there are people who don't, you know. So I'm not gonna like try to convince you. Like you can be like the best healer, the best doctor, the best of anything, but like it's about people's desires, and their desire does not meet with deepening their healing or healing in general. Like people identify with their suffering, with their dis-ease,
Mm.
and not knowing that like they're residing in a body. You know what I mean? Like they're not the body. This would literally promote a death, and a death which would mean a paradigm shift, and not a lot of people are willing to die to transform.
Well,
You're
Sharma,
frozen.
where can people reach you?
You can reach me, on Instagram, sharma.indigo. You can reach me on YouTube. If you want to email me, you can reach me at omanalashop@gmail.com. But yeah, just send me a DM. My YouTube as well. You can reach our YouTube at the Indigo family. Um, we're not that one couple. Family. Just like probably search like the Indigo family Enemas, we'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you, listeners and watchers, for tuning in. And see you next time.
Yes, thank you so much, Jojo.
Thank you, too.